You as a writer are responsible for giving these characters their worst day, and you're also responsible for getting them out of their worst day. My name is Mariko Tamaki, and I am the author of the Barbara Gordon Breakout comics. Barbara Gordon has spent a lot of her time as part of a team, and as part of the best team, and I think the thing about that character that's so incredible is that she is really somebody who can lead a team to victory and works really well with a group of people, works really well with the bad team. The idea behind this is, what if you take that person who's so good at that and you pull them out of that situation and you put them on an island prison in the middle of nowhere surrounded by a bunch of people that she has helped put into prison and a bunch of other people whose main goal in life is to do the opposite of help her and have her try to save the day in that moment. You get to watch somebody, size up their situation and size it up wrong, size up their enemies and allies and make some wrong choices. We've definitely thrown some pretty nasty curveballs at her in this comic. It's not something that's new to her, but I think it's a really lonely thing to be, to be wrong and then sent to your lowest low. It's been really interesting to sort of play out within this kind of hamster cage that she's been placed in, her trying out a bunch of things and not having any luck before she has, some luck. This is a place where Vandal has obviously placed everybody he does not want in the general population. It's not a daycare center. It's very much a place where you can't raise your hand and have someone help you out. It's a lot of Tuco soldiers who are there to, not really help. That's kind of their job, is to specifically not help anybody who needs help. It's very Alcatraz, adjacent. This idea that even if you got out of this prison, where are you going? It's got all of these nasty things even around it in the water, so there's no escape. The thing that's amazing about the comics world is the freedom that you have as an author to kind of really go for it. I feel especially with a prison story, there's always this, kind of tropes. I think we're kind of used to people playing with tropes, but that is the job, is to sort of imagine what the sort of basic points of a story that takes place in a prison are, and then to subvert those in some way. For me, it's also finding unexpected character moments. These are superheroes, so they're usually pretty on top of their game. It sounds upsetting to say that you want to upset a character, or you want, to sort of do something that they're not going to be able to respond to, or something that's going to throw them off, but that is what you're trying to do. So Amanke and I worked on Crush and Lobo. The first issue you do with an artist, you're sort of feeling out what it is that they do, and there was a bunch of physical comedy in that first issue that we did together, and he just nailed it so intensely. Just getting to feel out how your artist draws faces, how they draw bodies, how they draw spaces, the relationship between those things. I have such great faith in his ability to create this space and create the mood and tone of this space. Comics are such a unique medium because it's you telling the story with somebody else, and the idea of where your work begins and where their work ends, there's such a melding of those two efforts, and I love what he does, and I feel I write to it, and I feel he, is drawing to what I'm writing, and it's really incredible. The thing that is at the heart of this comic, which I think is at the heart of so many good stories, is just survival, right? Is survival in an impossible situation. And I think that you don't necessarily have to know who Barbara Gordon is as Batgirl to know what it means to be put in a scary situation where you're intensely outnumbered. You don't have to know the history of all Superman comics to love a hero. You don't have to know the history of the Joker to love a villain. And I think that is a thing that DC Comics maximizes on, this group of people does that so well, but you don't have to know the minutia of every version of it to love, each individual story.